Welcome back to another video, YouTube. 6 fragrances from my collection that I recommend for the fall. We're going to get right into it. We're not going to make any delays, partially because I don't have a lot of space left on my phone, so I cannot take too long with this video. Honorable mention, because of the fact that right now he's sold out on his website, so you can't really find this fragrance. I wear this hat in a lot of my fragrance videos, my list videos. Kirk Elliott fragrances. We're going to do an honorable mention of Funky Cucumber, all right, from the Black Label collection. Right now, his entire site is sold out. Can't buy hats, can't buy glasses, you can't buy shades, you can't buy fragrances. He's restocking. So it's an honorable mention, but definitely be on the lookout. Link's going to be in the description. Be on the lookout for Kirk Elliott fragrances because this is something that you need to keep your watch for. Fragrance notes: cucumber, teak wood, cherry blossom, cannabis. You know I love cannabis fragrances. I love scents that have cannabis featured in it. So this was one that I had to add to my collection. I had to round out the Black Label collection. I've got all 3 fragrances. This is one that I would highly recommend. It would be way up there in this list if they were in a particular order, but this is definitely one. Honorable mention. When you can get a chance to get your hands on this fragrance, definitely try to get it. Funky Cucumber by Kirk Elliott Fragrances. Now we're going to go through 6 different fragrances in no particular order. Let's go with the inspired fragrance houses first. Then we got a couple niche fragrances and the designer fragrance. So it's something for every price range in this video. 2 fragrances from a fragrance house that is notorious for quality, accuracy when it comes to matching scents or improving on scents. 2 fragrances at number 6 and number 5 are gonna be by Dua Fragrances. It's Dua's Black Widow, and this is gonna be their interpretation of Kilian's Black Phantom. I've got a decanter Black Phantom on hand. This lasts a little bit longer. It is a little bit stronger when it comes to scent profile, which is why initially when I got this fragrance, I sprayed it. It had to sit for a while. It had to sit. Why? The notes were cloying. Everything was just muddled together and it wasn't giving me the vibes of a quality inspired. Gave it a few months. I'm not sure if it was weeks or months but I've had this for a long time. For about 7 months now. Now, after the first 20 minutes, 1-to-1, it's just super close to Kilian's Black Phantom. I enjoy both fragrances. Dua's Black Widow is one that I recommend for some people who can't afford the Kilian prices. You don't need a whole lot of juice. You can buy this 30 ml size. I believe this cost me in the $50 range after the discount. So, number 6, Dua Fragrances Black Widow. And number 5, coming from Dua Fragrances, same fragrance house, we're going to talk about a fragrance that took me completely by surprise when I took a look at it and I actually got it and smelled it. It was a blind buy, but this is Dua's Lone Star, all right? Lone Star is their inspired interpretation of Bond Number 9 Texas. Bond Number 9 is a fragrance house that's usually attributed because it's on 9 Bond Street in Lower Manhattan. It's all of its fragrances, with the exception of a few, named after and inspired by different areas of New York City. So when I saw one that had nothing to do with New York, it was Texas, I was like, okay, let me just blind buy that because I was rounding out a Dua order. I was intrigued. Also, this fragrance is a Saks exclusive that came out in like 2015. I don't even know if it's discontinued now, but it's like $500. Swarovski crystals, adorn the bottle. It's one of their more expensive fragrances, so I wasn't gonna even look into that fragrance. I just got me the Dua version. This again, after discount, was maybe 40 something, 50 something dollars. Safe bet. You know, the scent, citric, vanillic. This is a classic type scent, and I can't describe how similar it is to other fragrances of this genre, of this type, but it's a beautiful fall fragrance that you have to experience for yourself in order to truly appreciate it. Because by going over the notes, you don't necessarily get that same vibe from the blend when you smell it. It smells amazing. One of the finer fragrances in my collection that I'm pretty happy that I blind bought. That is number 5, Bond Number 9 inspired fragrance, Lone Star by Dua Fragrances. And sticking with inspired fragrances, here at number 4, we've got a fragrance house that I talk about a lot. I make a lot of videos about them, or I bring them up in a lot of my videos. The number 4 fragrance is based on Chanel's Platinum Egoist. This is Old Story by Alexandria Fragrances, okay? And I talk about Alexandria's scents. I wear them super, super regularly because this is one of my favorite inspired fragrance houses. Not only do they have great prices on the fragrances, they come in 55 mLs. Now they're rebranding and they're coming in 60 and 100 mLs. You sometimes, when you got a big collection, you don't really need more than 60 mLs of a fragrance. You don't really necessarily need more than 30 mLs of a fragrance, and they've got that size too. Personally, I went 55 mLs of Old Story. This is based on my favorite designer house of all time, favorite designer hands down, Chanel Platinum Egoist, to be specific. How does this differ from the OG? And I'll tell you, because I've got my nose on the OG so many times. I was so close to buying Platinum Egoist. But then when I had some Alexandria fragrances in my collection and I realized, they make improvements on certain fragrances, I was like, let me try this. Because as much as I like Platinum Egoist, it's an EDT. And eau de toilette concentrations, in my experience, don't necessarily last super long on my skin. So I went with something that's extra concentration. This is a greener, a little bit spicier version of the scent, if I gotta be honest. There's a little bit more, the galbanum is stronger in this one. But I absolutely recommend and love Old Story by Alexandria Fragrances. If you're a fan of Chanel Platinum Egoist, then you're gonna absolutely love that fragrance. Or if you know someone in your life that they enjoy that Chanel fragrance, and you want to save about $30, because Chanel Platinum Egoist for the 50 ml size is about $80. You can get this for under $50 with the discount code. So you do the math. But I prefer a stronger concentration and a longer lasting fragrance, even though I love my Chanel fragrances. Don't get me wrong. I've got a couple of Chanel fragrances in my collection that I absolutely adore. Now, the number 3 fragrance, we're getting into niche perfumes. We're getting into niche fragrances. This is going to be a super affordable fragrance from a fragrance house that I absolutely adore. I love the fragrances from this house. I love the price point on these fragrances. For a 100 ml bottle, you can get it for, I believe, $75. Yeah, $75 for the 100 ml. Super affordable. And this fragrance from the house is Essential Parfums Rose Magnetic. All right. Now, I got this bottle from a fellow fragrance enthusiast over on Instagram, Manda's Cave. I think she's also here on YouTube. She got me this bottle. She sent it over with a few decants and samples. Also, the sample of Black Phantom that I have was courtesy of her. I absolutely adore this fragrance. This is one of my favorite rose fragrances in my collection, hands down. One of the top 3. Unisex. It's rose, but not in a classic jammy, old school rose scent. Totally wearable. A sweet, bright rose. Fresh. This smells like sort of like fresh rose petals. I absolutely adore rose fragrances. So for me, this is a safe wear For some people who do not, like there's some men who can't get with the rose note, this might not be the right fragrance. So keep that in mind when thinking about who to get this for, or if you're going to get this for yourself and you're not too much of a fan of rose fragrances, you might not enjoy this one. But for me, hands down, one of my favorite rose fragrances in my collection. The favorite rose fragrance in my collection is the next recommendation, and it's also a niche perfume from a house that makes amazing masculine signature scents, fragrances that are signature scent worthy through and through. The entire signature line from this house is amazing. I recently got my hands on Signature Royale, which has a beautiful honey sweet scent. Signature Noir, which is like the nighttime turn up date night scent. Zahara Signature is another fragrance that is incensey. It's like an ode to classic masculine cologne. It reminds me so much of my dad, and I think that it is a fragrance my dad would absolutely love. But at number 2, and again, this is in no particular order because this could have easily been number 1 a million times over. At number 2, this is Zaharoff Signature Rosé. Okay? You see that nice dent in that fragrance. Zaharoff Signature Rosé is my favorite rose fragrance in my collection. Man, it's probably tied with Rose Rage, but because Rose Rage is such a small bottle, this probably beats it out because of the size. You have 100 mLs of fragrance. No, this is 100 ml. This is about 50 or 60 mLs, I believe, of fragrance. I can't tell the size here, and I didn't check before. Yeah, this is a 60 ml bottle. Okay, sorry about all that. 60 ml bottle. An amazing rose fragrance. You got some incense. You got rose, sugar. What else sweet is in here? I forgot. This takes that Zaharoff Signature DNA, removes some of the deeper notes, puts in sweeter notes, adds that rose, a couple different kinds of roses in here. And my God, masculine, safe for wear. I could recommend this to anyone, whether you are a rose wearer or not. If you like deeper scents, fragrances, this could be unisex. Don't get me wrong, but this is a strong, deep rose fragrance that I can't stop recommending, and I absolutely love. I can't wait to wear this again. Smelling this fragrance again for the first time after a couple of weeks, and I'm falling in love all over again making this video. Zaharoff Signature Rosé. I got this bottle by way of an Unaverage Joe. He's also here on YouTube. An amazing YouTuber, fragrance friend, a brother for life. He hooked me up with this bottle, and I couldn't be more thrilled of the fact that I have this in my collection. As you can see, I wear it a great deal, and I'm probably going to put a way bigger dent in this over the course of the rest of the fall. Now, the final fragrance in this video is one that is a designer fragrance, and I saved it for last because I'm going to keep it real. A lot of people don't like this fragrance. It's not the popular version of the fragrance. It's not the popular flanker. Actually, the fragrance that came after this one in the line is way more accepted in the community as the better fragrance. But for me, not only because I have this one, but because I do generally prefer this one. I've got a sample of the flanker, and I understand why everybody likes it more because it's got more going on. But the simplicity of this fragrance is just it for me. I actually wore it a lot too. This is K by Dolce & Gabbana. Now, this fragrance, there's a story behind it. You see that dent? I wear this fragrance a lot compared to a lot of my other fragrances. Why? I got this fragrance. This is one of my first fragrances in my collection entirely. When I had like 10 fragrances is when I had this. Around February of this year. I know that because this was a birthday gift, one of the last things that I was given as a gift from someone that, I'm not talking to anymore. But I actually like this fragrance. It's a beautiful woody masculine scent. Super compliments. I got a lot of compliments wearing this to work. So for me, it's a win. Any fragrance that I get mentioned and someone says, "Hey, you smell good," I take note of that because I do not often get compliments when I'm out in the wild. But with good reason, I have put this fragrance here at the top part of the list. Not necessarily because it's the best or it's because it's in first place, but because I really wanted to talk about how much I like this fragrance. And I don't understand the hate that it gets in the community. I understand why people prefer the one with the silver cap, the EDP version better. But for me, for my purposes, this is more of a generic super woody. This is like an Ambroxan woodiness fragrance. It doesn't really get salty woody. It's not too busy. It doesn't have a ton of stuff going on, but it works. It smells great. So I recommend this fragrance for anyone that wants a all-purpose wear fragrance. You can wear this any time of the year, okay? And you can find it really inexpensively on discounted websites. So I decided to go with this as, the number one fragrance spot. And throw a designer in there so that, it's not a bunch of niche fragrances or fragrance houses that no one's ever heard of. But this is rounding out my list of fragrances for the fall that I recommend. I kept it short. Hopefully you stay tuned through the whole video. It's a little long, it's over 15 minutes, but these are 6 fragrances that I truly recommend wholeheartedly for anyone that's interested in smelling good, smelling different, smelling a little unique, and that wants to smell amazing in the cold weather this season. Thank you for checking out this video. I'm gonna come at you with a few more videos for the night here. I got superhero content coming up. I've got more generic fragrance reviews. I got niche, I got designer, I got a bunch of fragrance content coming at you. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching this video. I'll check you in the next one. Peace.